Hi everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to quickly and efficiently create a colour swatch sheet that you can use in your future painting projects. We're going to create hues, tints, tones and shades using the primary colours that you have in your art kit as well as warm bias. We'll also be using magenta to see how that affects the colours that we create. To set up my palette, I'm using an A4 sheet of acetate over a white piece of paper so I can see the colours. In the top left hand corner I have my hue. At this point it is magenta as that's the first column, and on the right hand side I've got my warm and cool bias of all the colours of the primary range. In the bottom left hand corner I have white, and I've mixed a chromatic black using warm red and cool blue to make my shades. So I'm going to take my hue and I'm going to just mark it at the top so I can see my pure colour. I'm then going to take some of that hue and mix it with my first mixer colour, which is warm red, and I'm going to use a palette knife in a little separate pot of colour underneath to mix those two together. This is a 50-50% ratio, and once these colours are thoroughly mixed together, I'm going to use my cleaned off paintbrush and I'm going to colour in a swatch of that colour, or paint in a swatch of that colour, in the top left hand corner of my box. The next step is to make a tint of this. So a tint is using white. So I'm picking up a little bit of white and I'm mixing it just to the side of my pot of my colour or my hue, making sure that's thoroughly mixed together. And that tint will then be in the top right hand corner of the box that I'm working on. Thoroughly cleaning off my brush to ensure there is no white left on there at all, I'm now going to make my shade. My shade is using my chromatic black mixed with some of my hue. I'm doing that just underneath my new pot of colour. And this will be painted into the bottom left-hand part of the box that I'm working on. Now lastly, it is a tone. A tone is when you add grey. Now I've got my tint and my shade here beside my hue. It makes sense to mix those two together since one is made with black and one is made with white, which makes grey, to get my tone. And then that is painted in the bottom right hand corner of my box. So I'm just going to repeat this process with my next colour mix, which will be magenta and cool red, and repeat the process of a tint to the side, a shade to the bottom, and a tone, mixing those two together.
Splice Original.
Just a reminder to clean up between going from your blues to your yellows. Remember, if you don't get rid of all that blue, you may get the greens or the browns that you don't want. So clean your brush off thoroughly and get some clean water to work with. And I suggest a clean painting cloth as well.